Here we are again today on A Certain Sound. We hope you're enjoying A Certain Sound daily video devotional as much as we enjoy bringing it to you. Ephesians chapter 3, verse 16, Paul is praying for the Ephesians. Listen to what he says. I pray that you would be strengthened with might by the Spirit in the inner man. What? Strengthened. How? By His Spirit. Pentecostalism is not dead. By His Spirit in the inner man. That's where. So you have what, how, and where. That's petition number 1. Petition number 2, verse 17, that Christ may dwell in your hearts by faith. Petition number 3, that ye, being rooted and grounded in love, may be able to comprehend, understand, grasp, may be able to understand the breadth, length, depth, and height of the love of God. That's what it says. The love of Christ, which passes knowledge. And then he says, that you might be filled with all the fullness of God. See that? Number 1, strengthened with might. Number 2, that Christ may dwell in your hearts. Number 3, that you might be able to comprehend the length, the breadth, the depth, the height of the love of Christ that passes knowledge. And number 4, that you might be filled with all the fullness of God. One follows the other, follows the other, follows the other. There is a pattern here. I can't think of any better prayer request or any better way to pray than right here. The very number 1 petition is so vital. Ask the Lord to strengthen you in the inner man, because it's your inner man where the battle is won or lost. It's in your mind and your heart where the battle is won or lost. He's not praying that their circumstances change, although that's not bad, but that's not what he's praying for, because he knows that if their circumstances change, tomorrow they'll have another set of different circumstances. So the issue is not your circumstances, sir. The issue is the strength, the consistency, the building up of your inner man, the condition of the internal versus the external. But also he prays that Christ may dwell in their hearts by faith. You need to be strengthened in the inner man to have that happen to you. Notice he says that Christ may dwell in your hearts by faith. It's by faith. By faith. That Christ may dwell in your hearts by faith. He's not talking about them being saved. He's talking about this, that Christ, by faith, because of being strengthened in their inner man, Christ would then be able to dwell in their hearts. Dwell in their hearts, as I said, doesn't mean being saved. It means to settle down and be at home. I want to say, friends, we need Christ to feel at home in our hearts. In other words, it's His house. If I came to your house, I'd never been to your house before, I'd be pretty, careful. I would be sitting down on your couch. I wouldn't just go to your refrigerator and look in your cupboards and go see what's in your medicine cabinet, right? I wouldn't do that anyway, right? But what I'm saying is, if I felt at home in your house, you might say, Pastor Jerry, you're thirsty. And I say, oh yeah, I could use a glass of water. You might say, help yourself. The glasses are on the right and the cupboard. Go ahead, open it up, get it. Why? Because I would feel at home. And if I was at home in your house, that means you've got nothing to hide. If Christ is at home in your house, if Jesus is settled down in your heart and in your life, and He feels at home there, friends, there's nothing to hide. You don't mind if He looks in every nook and cranny of your house. And that also means that your house is dedicated to Him. Your life is dedicated to Him. That means what goes on in this house is important. I remember my grandfather, my dad, our house was very important because Christ was the head of the house. Christ was at home in that house. And that means if Jesus was in that home and He was the head of that home and He felt at home in that house, then that means there are some things that will not feel at home in that house. Let me ask you, Mom, Dad, what have you allowed in your house that really would cause Jesus to have a problem? I want to tell you, friends, my grandfather said it right. We pray in this house. There are some things that are not at home in this house. But one of the things that was very, very vital to his home was number 1, prayer. Number 2, Bible reading. Number 3, we went to church. And if you don't like it, he basically said you can get your own house. The truth of the matter is, friends, we want Christ to feel at home in our house. That means there are some things that can't be there.
Thank you for watching A Certain Sound Daily Video Devotional. Be sure to sign up for the iTunes podcast or daily email of A Certain Sound when you visit us online at www.acertainsound.com. A Certain Sound is a ministry of Word of Truth Christian Center in Bowling Green, Ohio. On behalf of Word of Truth Christian Center, I'm Sonetta. God bless, and we'll see you tomorrow.